You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's America's Next Top Model After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's America's Next Top Model After Show.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Jackie Moran. Bing is for doing, and we're here doing the America's Next Top Model After Show. We are in Cycle 19, Episode 9, and I am coming to you guys from New York. So until Hurricane Sandy knocks my power out, I'm here talking AfterBuzz TV with you guys because I could not wait for the chance to talk about this episode, and I know my co-hosts are feeling the same way. Let me introduce everybody to you because we have a jam-packed show. In the studio today, we have our whole team. Our whole LA squad is there. We have Lauren.
Hello.
Hello there. We have Erica.
Hey, thanks for bearing the storm, Jackie, and being quite the trooper and still being here for AfterBuzz and our listeners. That's awesome.
I know. Thank you. Thank you. I was telling the girls, I am in an evacuation zone. Don't tell the police because I'm probably not supposed to be here. But I couldn't help myself because I have to chat with you guys today.
That's how committed
we are. And, of course, we have Ali Kona on the line also.
Yes. Hi. Super excited again tonight. Got lots to say.
I know. And finally, we have our America's Next Top Model expert, all-star contestant, Brittany Brower, on the line with us. Hello there, lady.
Guys. I'm in my pajamas like you, Jackie, in Vegas. I'm sorry I can't be in the studio with you guys, but I could not miss talking about this episode. It is quite a fun one.
I know. If you guys want, you can picture us in our pajamas. We got Brittany over in Vegas. I'm over in New York. That's the beauty of not being on screen like you ladies in LA there. But even more exciting, guys, momentarily, within the half hour, we are going to have probably this season's most interesting contestant, Victoria. She'll be calling in live, as we promised you. Every week we're bringing you the eliminated contestants. So a little spoiler there if you haven't seen this episode, but she will be chatting with us live. Guys, I know you all agree. I don't think we've been more excited to talk to anyone so far this season, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's 100% right.
Absolutely.
So before we get to that, which I can't wait for, we have so much to talk about with this episode. There was so much wrong with this episode. Laughable moments. You know, Brittany, I think you might know this better than anyone. Ali Kona, I know you're excited. Yes. When you have models trying to dance, that's always going to be something good to talk about.
Yeah,
well, let me tell you guys, I know you guys, I'm sure you caught up with all the seasons and watched all of them. This episode really reminded me of when they took Cycle 4 to Africa, because I don't know if you guys remember this, but they had us African dancing, which totally reminded me of them going to Jamaica and now them doing this pop lock Jamaican style dancing. I was like, literally, I felt like I was watching my cycle again, but they just switched out with new girls. Even with Kyra coming out, when they were at the house, and they had the Jamaican music going, and her running out and like, hey guys, welcome to Jamaica! And I just want everyone to know that this is where I did my first photo shoot, and da-da-da-da. I was like, oh my God, she literally said the same exact thing in South Africa with Sports Illustrated. I was like, I literally am having deja vu.
Oh, wow. It's almost like they do it to be cruel in a way.
Well, you know, one of the first things I think we do have to, point out is the whole Jamaican reveal. And in the midst of that, they revealed the girl that they left us hanging last week who would be going to Jamaica in the comeback. So coupling that with, first of all the girls' faces when they found out they were going to Jamaica, you knew it was going to be good because they all looked like they were like, I don't even know how to describe those reactions. But, of course, coupled with that, we find out Leela is coming back. I think we all wanted that. We all thought she deserved it.
Yeah.
So I think that's no surprise.
Yeah.
But these girls, it was like, can anybody just talk about these moments of this in the studio reveal? Because was I the only one laughing hysterically at all these girls and their drama and their crying?
No, I honestly, Jackie, when they just first announced, like, we're going to Jamaica, the funniest reaction to me was Brittany's reaction, because everyone, I mean, they were all pretty much like, oh my God, but nobody had been announced to come back yet. So I was like, oh man, if she doesn't get to come back, like, I'm going to feel really bad, because she, to me, seemed like the most excited, was like,
right. Well, it's like a double whammy. Like, you just got eliminated and you didn't make it back.
I know. She was, but no, their reactions for Leela coming back too. I mean, they seemed not happy with that.
And we called it last week. I mean, we said if anybody comes back, it's got to be Leela, because she's going to be the one that causes most drama. She's the strongest out of all of them.
Strongest competitor.
I was super pumped when she came back, because she's going to bring, I mean, as you can see too, I mean, she's bringing a lot, and it's bringing all that drama with Kristen and Laura, and that kind of brought out Laura's insecurity.
She's a threat. She's the threat. So it makes it a little more exciting.
But it's annoying. I'm like, mind your own business. As far as like Laura and Kristen is concerned, like, get over it. Obviously, you're really insecure, because if you weren't, you wouldn't feel the need to hate on somebody so much.
Exactly.
You see Laura's insecurities.
Were you guys a little shocked that it came down to Alyssa and Leila?
No.
You know, we actually called this a little bit when Alyssa was on, when we interviewed her, because it seemed like she represented almost like in Tyra's eyes, like I don't want to say like the normal girl, but kind of like, what was Alyssa's word that she used?
Awesome size.
Awesome size. And, you know, I think she had quite the following as a result of that. You know, a lot of girls out there maybe saw themselves in her. They rooted for that. Tyra rooted for that. So I actually wasn't totally surprised. Like,
wait, who did you think, Brittany? Why are you shocked? Who did you think it should have been between?
I don't know. I just guess I never really saw it in Alyssa to begin with. I never really thought she looked like a model.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess she had a bigger fan following. I just kind of thought it was going to come down to Brittany and her.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
I'm with you on that, Brittany. That's exactly what I expected too. So I was a little surprised on the
I didn't think so either. I think Ali Cohen and I are on the same page. I did not think so at all. I don't think she had the kind of following and the kind of strong
or attitude for it, to be honest with you. I
think that I'm definitely happy that Layla's back in. I just was like, whoa, what was that? I don't know with that. It kind of shocked me.
Well, I have to jump ahead to something because it kind of flows in. It started at this moment when we do find out that Leela gets through. And then it continued through the episode. So it might seem like I'm jumping a little bit, but I think this is one of the most important things I do want to talk about. So I want to make sure we get to talk about it before we talk about the Smythe Tooch Fest and the challenge. I have to talk about Kristen's trash talking, and later it becomes Kristen and Team Laura trash talking in the confessionals. And I definitely want to get Brittany's opinion on when you are in the confessional, if you almost don't realize that that's going to be aired and like you don't realize everyone else is going to hear you. I think this is my most disgusted moment, MDM I'm calling it, of the season, because I just think, as you guys said, it's insecure girls needing to trash talk everybody else, and if they really think they're that good, then they should watch their dance off, and hopefully that was a reality check. I'm so disgusted by these trash talking confessionals, and I really want you guys to weigh in on this.
Well, first of all, I think it's hilarious that Kristen's going to get on air and talk about Kiara's photos. All her photos suck. Blah, 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 blah. Girl, what are you talking about? Homie, your pictures suck. Like, your stiff, I'm sorry, I'm getting attitude. The neck is wiggling. But I mean, I think she's terrible. Even Johnny was surprised that she's still here. So how are you going to sit there and talk about people like that when you don't even perform that well.
Exactly.
And she's
threatened. She's threatened, and she's bitter, and she feels like it's slipping, and the competition's getting to her.
Yeah.
That's why the only thing she can do is talk basically shit about everyone else because it makes her feel better, and she's really pissed that someone else got brought in that she's so threatened by. I will say that being in the confessional and doing all that, you have to do those every single day. And you do say a lot of things that because you do so many hours of just talk to the confessional, you feel like this all won't get aired. But when you shit talk, that especially is what is going to get aired.
Yeah.
Of course they're going to put that in there.
And I think we're really seeing like Kristen. I mean, obviously we've seen kind of highlights of her nasty personality like leading up to this. But I think the true colors of who she is, it just really came out. I mean, her history of, she kind of mentioned a little bit before how she got into those, girl fights. I mean, anyone who gets into girl fights, like actual fights, especially, anyone who gets to those kind of fights, there's a lot of deep anger management and insecurity issues and things having to deal with, like, I don't know her family background. I don't know what brought her to be acting like this, but her personality, who she is, it's coming out because she's threatened, she's feeling insecure, and this is how she handles it.
I have to agree with you on that, definitely, Erica, because I feel like all of us on the panel and on the phone here, I'm sure we can all agree, all of us have dealt with petty girls growing up, and I don't know that any of us got into girl fights all the time. I mean, you just kind of like figure out how to make it copacetic, so that's definitely coming out with her. She's a little bit of a firecracker, and her crap talking, Jackie, I completely agree. So disgusting, and just transparently insecure.
Yeah,
She's transparently insecure to me.
It's ugly too.
She'll be going home soon, I'm sure. I feel like they're setting it up for it.
I was gonna say that. I think they're setting it up to dislike her and then boot her out. But like it is in some ways, a lot of times someone who is that beautiful, it's almost like it's hard to watch them be so ugly. Their personality so ugly. And you wonder where that insecurity stems from.
She is a really beautiful girl.
She is.
It's really a weird dichotomy to see her be so nasty. But,
Laura, too, I was going to say, I think as a model, Laura takes some stunning pictures, and that's what's disappointing to me on the inside. She is so ugly.
Oh, Laura, too?
Ugly.
You don't like Laura either?
No,
on the
not
inside?
at all. Not at all. I think she's fake. She may not talk as much. No, she does talk smack, but not quite as much. But she just seems so fake from even back in the day.
I think that Kristen is the influence on her. I don't think that she would necessarily have been talking so much if it wasn't Kristen right here, because they've kind of bonded together as being the two blonde pretty girls. So Kristen's kind of bringing out that little dark side in her, kind of being the bad influence. And I think it's her insecurity too coming out when she needs to say all this stuff. It's just, she has been doing really well. Doesn't mean that she's still insecure in herself. I mean, clearly, when you're doing so good in the competition and you are winning all these challenges and you keep getting best photo week after week, why do you got to say anything?
No.
Why do you got to say anything?
Right.
You're already proving it with your work, so shut your mouth. It looks so disgusting when you're doing good and then you're shit talking too.
Right.
Shut your mouth and you would look so much better.
Yeah, there's no graciousness there with her. It's like she's like, and even at the top of the episode, she says, "Oh, I got best photo this many times. I run my challenges this many times." It's like she hasn't completely reaffirm it and continue it because she's so insecure.
Right.
She has such an insecure. Well, if you want to say something
I was gonna say, Brittany, back to you. As far as you saying that Kristen being an influence, yes, to an extent, but prior to them even having that bond, I think she was being really fake. That goes back to a few episodes ago where her and Leela were going at it when Leela got eliminated, and Leela is upset because, Laura's being manipulative and talking stuff about her and just all this stuff. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she's like, and she just starts crying because she's obviously trying to get people's pity, and everybody goes for it. And then poor Leela is like the loner. But either way, the point is she already had it in her, I think, just to be a nasty person.
Both these girls
I have to say, I'm more leaning towards Brittany. I do agree that Laura is just being influenced by Kristen. I think they're two types of insecure girls, which is crazy because they're both pretty, and you would think that they're not, but this is the typical way of life that you just don't understand how even beautiful girls like this could be insecure, but they are, which is sad but true. And I think Kristen is that type that comes off with a hard shell, but on the inside is totally insecure, and which is why she does that. And Laura, she doesn't even hide it. She's just a mess all the time. She's crying when she's happy. She's crying when she's sad. She's following Kristen. She, you know, you'd think she'd be more of a leader. We saw even in the challenge where she had to be a leader, she's not.
Yeah.
But, you know, you'd think because they're pretty, you know, well-off girls that they'd be better, but they're just, it's sad. I don't know why, but that's just the case. And I think it's just they're both insecure, and Kristen is definitely influencing Laura, no doubt.
And I think we're all the same.
I don't like any of them. Let's just call the season a draw.
I love Brittany.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know.
Go ahead and call the draw, and let's just call it what it is. Season's done. None of you guys win. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep it moving.
Yep.
Well, I have to say, we do have to touch upon one other thing before we get to the challenge, which pretty much, I think, is the best medicine for all of these girls, because I think if I had to watch myself over in that, I would just want to crawl under a rock. So I just love that, and we're going to get to it. But we have to really talk about this dinner, the smizing, the smizer or the tutor dinner. Was Tyra really was she really being serious with this? You're either a smizer or a tutor. And the thing is that she really believed herself. Like, she was really, you know, coaching these girls at this dinner, and they're all buying into it. Was anybody else?
Yeah, that was a serious conversation she was having. Like, that was not fake. She was really trying to tell. She goes, "Oh yeah, you're a teacher. You're a teacher." Yeah, she was hysterical. I was like, is this for real happening? Is this for real? This is a real conversation.
And, like, being a huge fan of the show, and Tyra has her moments, and it's funny because you want to really like Tyra. I love, like, the content she puts out. I think it's great. But then sometimes when she does stuff like this, you're like, oh, gosh, don't try so hard. Don't get your smizing and tuching words, you know, out there as often as you can and make it a legitimate, like, model thing. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's hard. You're like, oh, I want to like you, Tyra. I do, but then this is just,
I agree.
It's hard to
I
watch.
think Tyra, you know, what I kind of like about Tyra is that she can be kind of like, she can just let it go and not, it seems like she doesn't really care what people think sometimes. And, like, in Panel, when she was trying to get Kristen to act, when she was trying to get her to act a fool, and she, I mean, it was a little weird what she did, but she can just let it go sometimes. But here, this is when it's like it goes a little far for me. It's hard to take seriously when you're like, Tyra, just be funny about it. You're saying really, like, kind of stupid words like smize and tooch. You sound kind of dumb, even though she's not. So it's like, can you just be funny about it? I mean, her seriousness made us laugh at her, not with her. And I wish that she could have just been like, okay, you're a toocher. That is hilarious. Tooch that booty and be funny about it.
And you know what? Not in some ways, it's like, don't take yourself so seriously.
That's what I'm saying. She's good at not taking herself seriously sometimes. I wish.
I think that's partly the problem, is because she does take herself so seriously.
But sometimes what I'm saying is she's good at being funny and foolish. Why could she not have just done that here? It would have been so much better.
I think there's a little difference between being funny and foolish and taking, because everything she does.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying she should be her funny side right there. Instead, she was so serious. It was like, uh-oh.
But that's Tyra. That's why we love her. And she does take it quite a different angle with Kristen in the judging room, by the way. Yeah. So we're definitely going to have to talk about that moment. But we have to get to it, guys, because my most hilarious moment, I had my most disgusting moment. Now it's my MHM, most hilarious moment of the season, most enjoyable to watch these girls, obviously besides Kiara and Nastasia, who we hope as a pop lock dancer, they would do pretty good as a team.
Hold on. Sorry. I got to cut you off right there.
We got the dancer in the house.
I got to cut you off right there. First and foremost, because you're going to offend people, popping and locking are two different dances, and that's what makes me really angry right now, because I love Nastasia. She's one of my favorites. However, that's how you can tell she doesn't do it, because popping is popping and locking is locking. And so when you call the two together, it's not,
everyone always coins them together, Yes,
it's two different styles. However, most poppers can pop and lock. You know what I mean? Like, they can intertwine. But either way, she wasn't doing either. I've seen her dance twice.
Okay, regardless of any of that with popping and locking and all that good jazz, why the hell are we watching it on Top Model?
I don't know.
Why is this even on it? This is ridiculous. Pop and lock somewhere else. What are we doing watching this on the show? What does this have to do with anything?
I hate these challenges.
Why? I understand what ballet is included. People that can dance can take great photos because they are and lean muscles, and they can make very great shapes with their body. Popping locks, what does that have to do with modeling? I hate it. It's a terrible challenge once again on Top Model.
They were supposed to be not popping and locking, but they're supposed to be doing dance hall. But she said,
whatever it is, it was hideous.
But yeah,
they
it
weren't
was
even doing that either. So
it was. But I do. I mean, it was hysterical to see Victoria and Leela, and they were like the two tallest, lankiest girls. So it also looked.
Oh my God, it was amazing,
right?
Just for watching it to be funny, it was hysterical and great for TV.
But what I liked,
to do with modeling.
but what I liked about that was that they commented, the judges commented on the fact that they were the ones that just like let it go and just had fun and like were in the moment, which I think was awesome to see. You know, they were the most awkward dancers, but they just like, oh well, whatever. And some other girls took it so seriously. Again, taking yourself so seriously sometimes is almost makes it worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, like Kristen, she's serious.
I have to say that Laura and Kristen, to me,
terrible.
Even though Victoria and Leela were the two most, challenged in the arena.
That was nice.
Like you said, there was something about watching them that wasn't like, OMG, this is so embarrassing for them, as it was to watch Laura and Kristen.
Oh,
Because it's like the two popular girls that think that they have everything and you can't break them. And to me, this was like breaking them because not only did they look so stupid, but they were taking themselves seriously. Like Laura was literally shouting out the next command, and I just could not handle it. I thought it was the most embarrassing thing that I think their families should just put them in a room and torture them and laugh at them. At least my family would.
Listen to Jackie.
But the thing is, they thought they did really good. Like if you
totally.
like, I'm so frustrated because we got lower scores. Well, you guys look dumb.
Yeah, they totally thought they like rocked it. They're like, yeah, and that was
Laura's face, guys. Can we just talk about Laura's her tough face that she was trying to make? It was
that tough dance face. That was ridiculous. In between,
I was literally having to watch through my fingers. Like really, I was like, thought I was watching a scary movie. I was like, I can't. I was so embarrairessed for them.
That tough face in between the shouting out the commands that Jackie mentioned was like hysterical. Take your sunglasses off. It was like, this is scaring me. Whereas I would have rather just seen Leela and Victoria just freaking go for it.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was actually very funny to see them be so serious.
I thought Kira did amazing. She was the closest to what dance hall represents. And for any of those girls who were talking about her for doing the splits, that's actually very. It's part of that style of dance is a very sensual dance.
The splits were like bam.
Yeah, it was
I loved
awesome.
that.
I was impressed. That was good for you, girl.
Yeah. So
of course, that was like the best moment.
Yes.
I'm totally not against that at all. I agree. Of course, I feel like she was doing it for her man, which was her love affair throughout the episode of Corey. But that didn't even save her when it came to the photo shoot, guys, because sadly enough, and I know we're going to have our eliminated contestant Victoria calling in any minute, and our producer will let us know when she's on the line. But we should start talking about this photo shoot, and I want to start with Kiara because, to be honest, I think that she, by far, was in a league of her own, not looking like a model, unfortunately, because I really like her in a lot of ways. I think she was by far really the worst photo for me this week, over Victoria.
I agree. You guys have said it before. I'm just not a Kiara fan, and I thought she just did not do good in this photo shoot at all. Like, she wasn't even trying, in a sense. Like, she was really just focused on, flirting, and I just did not like the photo. I thought it was terrible. I was actually surprised she did not go home this week.
Well, Ali Kona, you kind of like Kiara. What did you think?
I love her. Didn't like the photo, I will say that, but I love her attitude, and I think that I don't know, like everything about her, she exudes confidence, but not in a cocky, ugly way. I think there's a nice balance between that and humbleness, even though a lot of people think that she might be very a strong personality. I like her a lot, and I like the dynamic of her and Nastasia's relationship because to me they're like, and this is irrelevant to her picture, but they're genuine friends. You could see when they're up on panel, they're like cheering each other on, whereas between Laura and Kristen, they bond over like a hate, like jealousy type of thing.
That's a good point.
And I think that they would backstab each other in a heartbeat.
That's a very good point. I think for sure that you're right. And yeah, to get to the photo, I kind of agree with you, Jackie. I think her photo was worse than Victoria's. I didn't like it at all. It was just very like, she just stood there and the camera took the photo and that was it. That's what it looked like, or the photo they picked. So
I'm also a Kiara fan. I like her, and I don't know if this is kind of something we talked about before, like more of the personality coming through versus like the actual photo. But I agree. I think I've always been kind of a fan of hers. I like her attitude. I think she's she has a good attitude, especially compared to some of the nasty girls on there too.
For sure.
I agree that her attitude is definitely better, and I don't dislike who she is. She's never bugged me in that sense. I just have not been a fan of her photos.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that. Her attitude, great. She seems cool, but
I think the photo pickers don't like her.
The photo wasn't good for me. So.
And that's the shame of it. The two girls that I really like are Kiara and Nastasia.
Yeah.
And I feel like Nastasia is definitely growing. And we could talk about Nastasia next because she actually got Best Photo and won the episode. But even with her, I just feel like I wish their attitudes were in some of the stronger girls, photo-wise. But I think, these are personality-wise, moving into Nastasia now, these two actually are my favorite. Yeah. And I think we'll get a chance to like or not like Leela again as well. But, I'm happy for Nastasia that she won Best Photo. I have to be honest, I think Leela just kills it every time as a high fashion model. If you're looking at the photos straight up, again, I think Leela would be the winner in my eyes just because she's just a straight up every time it could be in a magazine in my eyes. And I'm glad she's back with Nastasia, right? But Nastasia did win Best Photo, and I'm excited for her.
Yeah, I thought Lisa's body was so high fashion. As soon as I saw that picture, it was like, I agree that her face wasn't like as strong as it should be.
Yes, it was
in the photo.
Yeah.
But her body and the way she looked, I was like, and that's why she's back.
Yes, Brittany, that was perfectly said. Her body looked fantastic, screamed high fashion model to me as well. Thought it was a very, very good photo. But yeah, I think there was something a little bit like she wasn't pushing as much through her face, I thought. But I really loved Nastasia's photo though. I thought she was great, and I liked. Was she the one that like tried to kiss Rob? Who tried to? Or like
no.
Who was that?
Yeah, it was. She was like.
I was like, do it, girl. Yeah.
No, but I love like because when Johnny was like, she's like, what?
It's acting.
Yeah,
I was like, do it. Please do it for me. For me.
I have to agree too. I love Nastasia's photo. I think that compared to the rest of the girls, it just seemed so fitting. Like you could actually see her being there and being amongst those men, and she looks. I thought she did.
Wait, I have to say something.
An awesome
This
job.
is gonna. Brittany will appreciate this because they're talking about toonching and smizing, and then they're like, yeah, you're a tooncher or whatever, and then she got told, like, Tyra was like, well, you tooched a little too much. Your booty was a little too tooched in that photo. And so then it was like kind of what we were talking about last week, Brittany, like, you're too sexy, you're not sexy enough. Yeah. And I didn't think she tooched her booty too much. I thought it looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought she was working it, like leaning into it. Yeah, I agree. I didn't think it was too much tooch, but you know what? That's just another. Tyra just really wanted to bring tooching up again. That's all. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Well, I think I do agree with you, ladies, that Nastasia, maybe that what did make her the winner over Leela comeback is that she did bring a real presence with her body and her face somehow. So I do, I'm up in the air. Either one could have won for me between Leela and Nastasia. So I'm pretty happy with their standing.
I think that Layla's body won overall. I mean, the fact that she was standing and looked so lean and long on that raft or whatever you call it. But Nastasia's face was so gorgeous. It just captured you in the photo. Yeah. And that is why I believe she got Best Photo. But, I mean, if we're going on by, like, things and what looks like really more high fashion, then Layla would have won it all day long.
Yeah, always. I think she always does. She just, her look is just so obviously high fashion. I feel like it's kind of hard for her not to always look that way, which is awesome for her. But we'll see if that ends up, winning her the competition, or we don't know.
Right. Now let's talk about our mean girl, and I know momentarily our producer will let us know when our lovely Victoria is on the line, but I want to talk about our mean girls for a minute in Laura and Kristen, especially Kristen, because I think that as far as the body goes, this was the worst photo body-wise.
Yes.
She's so lucky she has a face that photographs well, because Kristen with the lap dance and just her lower half as a model, that is just so bad that no agent would put that in a book ever in the real world.
Well, and it's just...
And then we have to also couple that with her performance in the judging room, and that I feel like finally Kelly Cutrone was ready to lace into Kristen. The way she acted a fool to then cause Tyra to act like a fool with her dramatic performance. The whole thing with Kristen was just disgraceful, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like that that's how she tries to be silly or whatever, run around the judges and just kind of, I was like, what? It was so awkward to watch. Like, that's how you let loose?
And it wasn't even. It wasn't even letting loose. She basically, what she did was she removed herself from their sight. So I'm going to act a fool, but I'm going to run behind you so you can't see me. So I'm not vulnerable and don't look stupid. And I'm going to put all the attention on you by touching your hair. It was just like, or whatever she was. I'm sorry. She needs to.
She's not model material.
Look, I know Victoria like takes it into another level, but to me, at least it's like part of her art that she like tries to get somewhere. Kristen just like sits there and goes like, freaking take a picture of me. And her, like you said, Jackie, this photo, if it weren't for her face, it would have been just awful in all senses of the word, because that body pose was not okay.
And there's such a disconnect between them too, like with Kristen and Rob. It just looked weird. Like the photo was just.
How could you be disconnected from him?
Well, I mean, his face, it just looks weird. It just doesn't. It isn't telling that story.
The problem is with Kristen is she doesn't know who she is. She has no idea who Kristen is. She only knows that she can talk shit about people, and that's the only thing she's good at.
And that she's pretty.
Other than that, she's got a pretty face, and she doesn't know who she is. If you were to tell me act like a fool, I could act like a fool. I'm sure all of us could. We're all pretty strong women who know who we are.
Yeah.
This girl is lost. She doesn't know who she is.
And this is, I mean, they're all pretty young. We forget how young. I mean, Victoria's like 18, isn't she? Or I don't know when the show was taping. So, I mean, these girls are pretty young, and this is kind of a stressful situation. So it could be hard for them to even if they are finding out who they are, really just portray that, because they're kind of feeling all insecure and it's a competition. But you're totally right, Brittany. I see that too. I see that she just doesn't know who she is, and that's why it comes off. The insecurity comes out.
And I think the best too, that you know their characters, you know who they are. Like, look at Victoria, for example. We know exactly who Victoria is.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Come on, with Kristen, I'm like, I don't really know much about her personality. Does she ever crack a joke? If so, I never really hear her joke. I don't really ever hear her laugh. It's all, every single time we ever see anything, she's got a nasty look on her face and she's talking about something.
True.
It's like, show me, Kristen, who you are. Okay, I get it. You can talk a lot of crap about everyone else, but who are you?
Exactly. It's all about everyone else. That's a good point. I agree completely.
And I think, that's probably what prompted Johnny, to say, I don't know why she's still here. I think that's a great point, Brittany. I think she really just doesn't get it. She doesn't know what she's doing, so she's putting on a front. And I think Johnny's calling her out on that, and that's why he said, I don't know why she's still here. And from a professional perspective, she's bringing nothing to the table.
Yeah. And so
I'm not surprised that he said that.
Yeah, and from his, like, he has a unique relationship with her versus the judges, where he's actually had to work with her. So he's seen her and her personality and how she works much more so than the rest of the judges.
The finished photos.
So he knows more than anybody that she's not that great to work with.
Right.
He's not inspired. He's got to pull things out of her, and he's like, well, why is she still here?
Yeah. Though, I want to say, speaking of Johnny, I feel like out of the new people that she's incorporated, I feel like he's the most valuable. I know I'm taking this back, but Jonty, he made an appearance for the challenge, and I'm still wondering like what he's doing. Because he didn't do anything but say 5 lines. And thank the masculine gods, he came out looking somewhat normal this time.
I know.
Because I was like, you look really good. Like, you're studded, but you still look good. Like, why? Just be that.
I don't get his role either.
He didn't wear his platforms this time, but I didn't get his role either.
I'm confused.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're not showcasing Johnny as much as they could, and I think he's doing more than we even see on the photo shoots. But I like his style. I like what he's bringing to it. I agree.
I do too.
And last but not least, before we talk, hopefully live with Victoria about her own photo, let's just get a few words in on Laura and her photo. Again, I think she does take a beautiful photo, but this was, I think, a photo shoot like it suited Nastasia. It did not suit Laura. I think she did good with it. I think she does always pull out a pretty good photo, but I don't think this was her strongest.
I liked it. I feel like she told the story appropriately.
Yes.
That's what I like about it.
I totally agree. I think out of all of them, she really understood the story, and you could pick that up from the photo.
Exactly. The others, I wouldn't have known that one is her husband and one is her mistress, but this one, to me, it just made sense.
Yeah. I was just whatever about it. I mean, the thing is that it was kind of hard for me to concentrate on like her, I guess, I mean, they showed the photo in the panel, but during the process, I just felt like I could see how worried she was that Leela was there.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I'm sure you can speak for this, Brittany and Jackie, because you guys model. If you're not feeling confident, you're not going to take a good photo. Like, I was feeling it, like, worried for her because she just didn't look like her normal confident self. I think that had to do with Leela. And I was like, ooh, what is she doing? Like, every time she did something awkward, I was like, oh my God, she's crumbling. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and I think, you know, for this one, I do think, like I said, our two strongest girls in Layla and Nastasia were my favorite. But quickly, obviously we'll wait to talk to Victoria live about her thoughts on her shoot, but do you guys think between Victoria and Kiara, were you at all surprised by that bottom, and do you think it was the right choice?
Yes. Not surprised, and yes. Sorry, I know I just jumped in there.
I don't know. I think Kristen's photo was not so good.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. I thought she should have
I don't know that. Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I think Kristen could have been intertwined in there somewhere.
Yeah, I was rooting for Kristen to be at least in the bottom two, or just to get something knocked out, like just you know, get reprimanded.
I think Kristen's definitely going home soon, but I'm surprised at the final two. I mean, Victoria, she's out there. I don't think she's not really had the best photos lately, so it wasn't a big shock to me that she went home this week.
Yeah.
And then we felt that she was so strong at the beginning, I think we saw a lot of like promise in her and just a very unique, beautiful look, and then it just seemed like the competition, I think, got to her.
Yeah, so the outside elements were just too much.
But could you guys tell? I could really tell how much weight she lost when they showed, when she was eliminated, and they showed her from the beginning all the way to the end.
Yes.
I was surprised. I really saw it. You know, I've been watching it. It's kind of like you forget, you know, she's always been skinny, you know. But when I was watching it, I was like, oh, my gosh, she did lose some weight, huh?
Yeah.
Can I just...
Well, guys, I have to interject something here. She did definitely lose some weight. And unfortunately, you know, if I could call in an evacuation zone from Hurricane Sandy, you know, I don't know if I'm giving Victoria a pass here, but we just got an email that Victoria is caught in the Frankenstorm. That's what she put it as. And wishes, hopefully we can reschedule to chat with her another day. How disappointed are you guys? I couldn't wait for her to call in today.
Oh, what a bummer.
I was so excited to talk to her, but That
really stinks. I could not wait to ask her if she could taste food again. I wanted to hear all about the reunion from her, if she just cried for days.
Oh, my God, Brittany.
I think that's a really important question to ask her. So, Jackie, if you can call from an evacuation zone, she should be able to call from some bridge.
You guys,
Exactly.
let's be real here. I was like, okay, Victoria's calling in. There were so many things to say. And Brittany is making me nervous. I love that she's like, can you taste food again? Oh, my God, Brittany, I was totally waiting to hear the questions you were going to ask her,
so
too.
was I.
Oh, man. Guys, that was going to be what I led with. I was going to jump right in. I don't even know if I was going to let Jackie get in one question because I had to know, could she taste food and how's her mom?
I love it. I love it so much. Man, well, let's hope for next time we can talk to her because...
Yes, exactly. And by the way, the further detail on that email is that her phone died and she has no way to charge it. So it's not even like, you know, I guess we'll give her a pass. Hey, that sounds like Victoria to me. But hey, you know, we'll get that interview for you guys because I think more than you fans out there, we were more excited to talk to Victoria than anybody. So we'll make sure it happens. How does that sound?
We'll do it.
Good.
We'll bring it to you.
Hey, for now, I actually have some news and gossip that you may or may not be so happy about. So let's get into this.
Uh-oh.
This is upsetting to me, Jackie. Very upsetting.
I know, guys. All right. Besides our disappointing lack of call from Victoria today, Rob Evans, I know we have some extra large fans in the studio.
What do you mean?
That want his number. But apparently some other people want his number in the way that police are looking for the British model, seemingly. We don't know. But
Crazy.
It looks like he's a suspect. It's being reported that he's a suspect in an assault and battery case, and a warrant is currently out for his arrest, according to the Beverly Hills Police Department and E! News. They say that he's wanted in connection with an incident that allegedly went down in March, and he'd been in touch but has since ceased communicating with them, and they're now actively looking for him. Well, I know where to find him. I was just having drinks with him. Contrary to another report, police say they have not dispatched a fugitive team to find Evans. The former boxer is facing a charge apiece of battery with serious injury and assault with force likely to produce great bodily injury. Okay, that's a mouthful. Bail is attached to the warrant and set at $150,000. Reps for Evans had no comment. Guys, what do we think about this? Now he's really a bad boy.
No, I think it's hot. No, look, he's a boxer, okay? And maybe, like, people know that I don't know what happened or the details
This is against another male, though, right? There wasn't a female there?
Yeah, it was a man. It was a man.
It was a man.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is, some people get into fights sometimes, and if you end up getting hurt, then all of a sudden it's somebody else's fault because they're famous and they're rich and I'm going to take their money. I'm just saying, I don't know what happened. I'm just saying that could be a possibility. Of course, I'm sticking up for Rob because I love him, and I would pay $150,000 to find him, too. So,
I don't love him that much.
What's funny is I also read, too, that someone was saying, obviously, the police aren't trying that hard because he's on Twitter and he tweets where he is all the time. So if you really wanted to find him, just follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to start your own manhunt, it sounds like.
Sorry.
I already have.
I don't know if I buy into this story too much because it kind of sounds like, I'm surprised, though, E! News is reporting it. It seems too ridiculous to me. I feel like I don't know how the ins and outs work, but, if I could be hanging with him in New York like 2 days ago, if they really, like you guys said, if they were really trying to find him seriously, I don't think it's that hard. I don't really get that.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we'll have to see how that all plays out. And like I said, we're going to have to get to Victoria through Hurricane Sandy in one way or another because I think we all can't live without talking to her live. But for now, until we get a hold on that, why don't we get into some predictions?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Guys, well, I think if we were annoyed with Kristen enough, it's going to overload even more next week. Of course, I'm quoting what they had her saying, so I don't talk like this, but we have a bitch shut up, I don't like you, therefore I don't respect you coming up.
Oh, she's getting serious.
Right.
My prediction is she's the next to go.
Oh, yeah.
That's my prediction.
I think so, too. I think that's what the show's kind of leading us to.
I agree.
Yeah.
People
Well,
don't
wait a
like
minute.
her.
Who do we think she's talking to with that?
Leela, definitely Leela.
Oh, yeah.
Leela or Laura? There's you don't think so? There's somewhat of an underlying weird kind of tension between the two of them that they've alluded to throughout the season. And I would love to see a Laura Kristen showdown.
That could be good.
They're definitely frenemies, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, they
good
are.
call, frenemies.
They're big time frenemies. So I kind of want to see something go down before they're eliminated.
I would actually like to see Kristen and Kiara get into it because I think Kiara would slam her down so quick.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
All right.
Someone would be taken off their
I'm
hoop
totally
earrings.
with you guys. Go ahead.
I was going to say, as you know, friends turn on each other at the end of these shows all the time.
That's right.
Look back at cycle 3, Ann and Eva, that were best friends during it, fought.
Yes.
On my cycle, the final 4, me and Kenya had it out.
That's right.
So we're getting toward the end, and even toward the end when that pressure builds.
Yep.
Sometimes your friends aren't your friends anymore.
That's right.
I don't think they were ever good friends anyways. Kristen really never had anything nice to say about Laura in the confessional.
Yeah.
You know.
And what about you, Jackie? What do you think?
I have to say, I hands down think it's going to be Kristen versus Kiara, though I would prefer it to be Kristen versus Laura. Totally agree.
That would be so good.
If it's Kristen versus Leela, I really want to see how strong Leela stands up for herself, because I think we wouldn't be shocked if Kiara stands up for herself.
Yeah.
And I think it would be so shocking if it's Laura. and we know that she'll just end up crying.
Yeah.
But if it's Leela, I really want to see what she brings to the table, because I think she's stronger than we all think. She might be skinny and have a gap, but I think she can hold her own.
Good call.
Either way, there's going to be a showdown, and it's going to be exciting.
I'm excited
to watch.
for it. I am very excited for it.
So, guys, I do have to pipe in just for a little bit, kind of news, kind of predictions, but I did read recently from the Hollywood Reporter that there has been a confirmation that Cycle 20 is going to be both male and female.
Yep.
What?
Yes, we were chatting about that a little last week, and I think, judging by Rob's presence, I think that the male model thing will definitely bring something to it. I mean, even when we see these girls get with Corey and whoever, something interesting always happens.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good call on that. By the way, one last thing I want to touch upon, speaking of that, and speaking of Rob, kind of our center of news and gossip this week, there were some reports that said that Rob
and Tyra
was a weak model and basically looked like he didn't want to be there during the shoot this week. Did you guys feel that at all? Because I thought he did a good job, but I think male models typically operate like that. They don't bring it like girls do.
It's different, I think, and that was the whole issue with having male models. And even Rob said that when he interviewed with you, Jackie, at the beginning of the season. He said, male models don't really do much, or it's more exciting to see the girls. So, I think that could have just we've been used to watching the girls really go for it, and I think maybe just right next to that in comparison, it did kind of look like he wasn't doing much. But I thought, for shit, what is he?
Well, right, because he's not supposed to be the main focus.
Exactly.
It should be the girl and what she's wearing. The guy should just blend in. He should not be the main focus. I think he did what his job was.
I do too.
Be the male model in the shoot.
I still have to go back just one quick thing, just someone related. I think it's odd that he's in the photos with them at all, because from a judging perspective, I think they need to keep their distance.
Yeah.
And I think it's odd to me that they're doing it like this, almost as if he's a peer. He, as a judge, he's supposed to be the more senior, the more established, the more just in the know when it comes to modeling. And I feel by putting him in there with them, they're almost putting him on the same level. And then when you hear his comments, they're not as strong to me as, say, someone like in the past, like Nigel would have to say. So I'm not crazy about the way they've been handling this.
Well, I was going to say also the last time he was in a photo shoot, I don't remember whose photo it was, but it was one where he was like, you look like a goddess, and but it was something, it related back to him. Well, and I feel like because he's in the picture, and it could be a picture that he's like, oh, I like that.
Well, I thought he did fine during this photo shoot. I think people just were comparing him to the girls, and it's a different ball game. But I don't think he needs to do much to look fine, in my opinion. So,
I thought he
well,
did
and
okay.
speaking of judges getting involved, one last prediction. Tyra's getting in on the photo shoot. Not only is she going to be the photographer, but she's bringing them to the waterfalls. And just one quick image of the water splashing in Laura's face. I can't wait for that also.
Yeah, so good. So good.
And Leela apparently will be getting a little injury. As we say, every season there has to be an injury, right, Brittany?
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course. So it's all coming next week, guys. I am so, like you all out there, we are so disappointed that Victoria got caught up in Hurricane Sandy and couldn't make it to the phone, but we will make sure we follow up on that for you guys and for ourselves, of course. But until then, everyone, thanks for joining us in the studio in Vegas and here from New York. Thank you, Lauren, Alicona, and Erica.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, ladies, and thank you, Miss Brittany Brower.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I'm Jackie Moran. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.